All right. Welcome back to the Good Martials Universal Podcast. I'm Dan Bernardo. We've got Keith Mosher, Bo Davis, and we have a special guest today,
Jason Cantrell.
Motivation, has it changed as you went along?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Guru Inosanto really talks about this a lot. Anytime you go and see him, you're like, every like 10 years you change as you get older and you have to adjust your martial arts. But it's not just your martial arts that changes. It's also like the way that you're thinking and your philosophy. Yeah. When I was 30, I was like, this is really cool. I'm learning combat for the first time because I didn't know how to protect myself at all. I knew nothing, right? Mm-hmm. I've only been in one fight my entire life, and that was when I was 17 years old in high school, right? So I've never actually used anything that I've learned against anybody in any kind of physical altercation. Yeah. Interestingly enough.
Hopefully you'll never have to.
I doubt it, right?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
That's a different topic of discussion, but
sure.
At this level of martial arts, we should be de-escalating combative situations, not trying to escalate something to get into fights. We should be trying to get out of fights.
Absolutely.
But back then I was like, no, this is so cool. I've never done this before. I never trained with knives or sticks, and the combative aspect of it was really interesting and really new to me. And so I liked the fact of, really getting into street fighting tactics and really getting into the combatives, right? So early on, that was really kind of my focus, was combative street stuff, street fighting.
Yeah. Tactic based.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But the past couple of years, especially the past year, I've been getting more into the internal aspects of it and really looking to be healthy, right? I've spent the past couple of years trying to lose weight and get healthy and eat better and meditate more and do qigong and I've started doing tai chi. I actually did not intend to start doing actually learn to use tai chi. I just wanted to learn the form for some meditation and stuff, right? It just so happened that you were a great teacher and you knew how to do the combative aspects of tai chi, but I wasn't expecting that when I joined your classes.
Yeah.
So now I'm more into the internal aspects of it and the how do I age well, because I'm 45 now, Right. This is 15 years later.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to, throw people on a mat anymore. I'm not looking to hit anybody. I'm looking to, take care of my joints as I get older,
it starts to rack up,
get injury, and that kind of thing. And luckily, I haven't really had any serious injuries or anything, nothing permanent as I've studied martial arts,
Good.
Yeah. And I think it's because I kind of backed off of the combatives.
I think a lot of it lies in competition and heavy sparring. You can attest to this.
Oh, yeah,
you can attest to this.
Absolutely.
I can attest to this. My shoulder isn't right because of a stick.
Yeah.
That sucks. I wake up in the morning and take a deep breath and go, ow, why? Yeah. Right? And I know it's because Adam hit me in the back right there on my scapula. Yeah. I don't know how long that's going to last for, but if I'm 45 with that still, I'll definitely keep picking up on Tai Chi. I'll try to do it young.
Yeah.
I always highly suggest younger people do Tai Chi.
I'm finally kind of succumbing to all y'all's advice. The whole hey, people count on you and stuff thing. That I never processed that before as well. So yeah. Now I want to take care of myself a little better. I'm coming to that reality.
All of these arts are supposed to be for life.
Yeah.
And hopefully you get that that's a loaded statement.
I mean,
I was gonna say a lot of things, but I just shut my mouth.
HEMA, I would argue HEMA is not.
HEMA not, but
You're just gonna do it with a Sifu, slow and fat on the joints.
But I mean, but for life, as in being more fit.
Sure.
For life, as in protecting it.
Sure.
For life, as learning how to avoid, evade I mean, only with a certain amount of confidence can you say, this is not worth that, we can get away from that, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd
So,
say he
so it's a
has some.
it's a little bit of a loaded.
I think it depends on the teacher too, and the practitioner,
and
right? Like
That might be
you-
why we lack it some, because like I can look at
Yeah.
Fiore and go, I have the option to show him mercy, but everyone's like, you know,
Yeah.
everyone's like, cut his leg and stab him at the same time, and I'm like, you don't need to do all that. You have his hands like this.
Yeah. Well, and like you see some of the old kung fu guys, and like
Yeah.
they died young. They were all addicted to opium. Like they didn't. It wasn't a health thing. And some of them
It's kind of like gangster
because
lifestyle.
too, like well, some of it was their job, right?
Yeah.
Like even in Okinawan karate,
Job
like
or their society.
your job was you were a military guy. Your job was you are a bodyguard. Your job was, and so that's why you trained. You didn't train because you wanted to have peace. You trained because there wasn't peace.
The quality of violence was a lot better.
Well, no, the quality of life was a lot worse.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true.
Right? Like that.
There's a
that
trade-off
I think
there.
matters a whole lot because when you start to see, like right now, we are in South Carolina, in the United States. Right now, we still live in a relatively safe society. I don't fear going to the grocery store. I don't fear, right? Like whereas Beijing in the early 1900s was a scary place to live. Korea in the 1940s after the Japanese occupation was a scary place to live. You know, I made the joke because, one of the daily activities for spiritual cultivation of my lineage founder, Wang Yi, is to walk around at night to generate or to cultivate courage. It's like, I'm not afraid to walk around my neighborhood at night. It's not a scary place. I'm like, right? So like, there's a difference in that. But I've had so many old Kung Fu guys that are just like, I don't need to be in shape. I do Kung Fu. And it's like, okay. So there's a different, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of like the night thing.
Huh?
I think I like the night thing. I probably need that more than you know.
There you go.
I'm an anxious little dude,
There you
so that
go.
could help me out, you know.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's just like a grounding thing.
Well, it's
You like to walk around barefoot, so you
courage-
know.
Oh yeah, I'm always barefoot.
Yeah.
Courage, is a resoluteness. It's a calmness. It's a right. It's a rather than reacting to something. It is the ability to again, a good marshal. See what's coming in, recognize it, do the right thing, do the most efficient thing. Don't do the thing that your body may want to do at the moment, and then you end up tweaking your back out or breaking your whatever.
Key
right?
word
So-
in that was calm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of people would call arrogance courage, but it's
Nah,
not.
it's not the
It's
same.
the exact, almost
not the
the
same.
opposite.
Well, Fiore has.
And did you notice what he
calls it.
said? He said, "See what's coming at you," and it was virtually the cue.
It's almost as if good martial is universal.
Fiore mentions audacity, but I'm sure back in medieval Europe they were a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Balls,
Again, the times.
We're talking about
called-
nobility, so
The time, well, the times called for.
yeah.
I mean, most of what when you're talking medieval, you're talking about people in England intentionally donning little tanks of armor.
I'm talking about nobility being petty.
Nobility going to the Middle East intentionally to slaughter people. That's audacity. That's
I'm just
arrogance.
talking about them squabbling with each other, dude. That's not even
courage.
that. Yeah.
That's not courage.
There's a slight variance
in the
in
book.
context there,
Yeah.
especially because it was Italy, not
Okay.
England.
Yeah.
But
In Fiore.
audacità is not necessarily arrogance.
Yeah.
It is more courage than it is.
It's more courage, but it's that ability of. It's audacity. True and true. It's like, oh, you just did that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, like you had that courage to go first and make a bold statement in that conversation.
I would say, because I always try to tell people, especially people with kids who want their kids to go into martial arts to learn confidence, right? I always try to tell people confidence comes from competence.
Yes.
It comes from the ability to do a thing. Then you can be arrogant. Then you can have audacity. Then you can do whatever you want to do. But you can't do that for real if you are not competent. So that, I think, is super, super important. It's really what Fiore is trying to get at with audacity. Is that you have the ability, you have the competence to do this, and you have the will to say,
Yes.
I'm going to do that.
That's a nice interpretation of it. I like
Yeah.
that. I always came across as like the medieval nobleman of,
Oh yeah.
you peasant. I can't, that's
well,
how
there's that
I
too,
think of
but
it.
audacity is also against other noblemen, so it's not necessarily.
Yes. Well,
right?
I'm sure they would start.
Yeah. But like,
I'm sure they like each
you
other
may
that
not
much.
know this reference, but remember Billy Jack?
I don't know this.
You know this reference?
Oh yeah.
So Billy Jack was an old TV show, or movie. It was an old movie, and it followed this Native American guy who one of the most famous things that he would say, I'm going to put this boot right upside your head. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And he would. Now, the guy who was doing all the kicking and fighting for Billy Jack was a Korean named Bong Soo-han. He was a Hapkido guy.
That was a stunt double or something?
Yeah.
I've seen this on the internet, and that's hilarious.
Yeah. But that's the same thing.
And for reference for you guys, since you don't know it, Billy Jack, while native, half-breed,
Half-native, yeah.
Native American, he had just come back from Vietnam. All his
That's right.
badness he learned because America sent him over to Vietnam to kill people.
Yeah.
He learned it the hard way.
Yeah. So that's where he got his confidence and his competence from.
Right. Highly recommend
Look
watching
at these
it
ears.
if you haven't seen it. It's corny and cheesy, but it's good.
It's a corny, cheesy
Sounds awesome.
martial art movie. You get to see microphones in the shot. It's kind of that great.
Nice.
It is Harold Hessman, the guy who played Johnny Fever on WKRP. That's his first major appearance. He appears as a street comic in a park.
I have no idea what we're talking
He
about.
does like a 3-minute ad lib.
I
They
remember
didn't
this.
even write anything for him. And he,
That's awesome. Let me finish this interview with one last
I don't know
question.
what that is after.
What's your favorite martial arts movie?
Oh, great.
Oh man, that's so hard to say. I don't have a favorite one.
Give me a few.
I will say I love the really old Jackie Chan stuff from the 70s, like the
Drunken
original,
Boxing and-
the original Drunken Master, and Laughing Hyena, and those.
Yeah, those are great.
Anything by Bruce Lee, of course, is phenomenal. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Great movie.
Yeah.
No Kung Fu Hustle?
That was actually one of the first martial arts movies that I ever saw.
Yeah.
It was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And Kung Fu Hustle's great. Kung Fu Hustle's fantastic.
But there's one.
And actually, the first martial arts movie, like real kung fu movie that I ever saw was Jackie Chan Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah, and that was also what introduced me to the Mukang Jong, because he has one in
Spins, right?
It spins.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Have you watched Dragons of the Orient?
I don't think so.
Oh God, I'm bringing it.
And of course, anything by the Shaw Brothers.
Yeah, sure.
I
You
have
watched
no
Paper
idea
Tigers
what to
yet?
expect.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You didn't like it? What didn't you like about Paper Tigers?
I thought it was pretty goofy. I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it after you mentioned it. I watched it a week later or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, These actors are terrible. The kung fu isn't really even all that great or whatever, and it's just I didn't dig it.
But
I didn't
Master
dig it.
Ken is in it.
No, wasn't a fan.
All right.
Wasn't a fan.
Well,
but I
that's
tried.
okay. Nobody's
I tried.
perfect. Yeah.
There's a lot of martial arts movies.
I'm glad
to
you
pick
tried.
from,
I'm
though.
glad you tried.
You had a tough question there, I'll say that. I would have said
was a
like
tough
Ip
question.
Man where Mike Tyson is fighting Ip Man. That's funny. That was
That
a
is
good one.
funny. That is funny.
Yeah, the first Ip Man was pretty good.
one was good.
powerful.
It's hard to get through the what do you call it? The
Drama.
The
The
Hollywood?
theatrics.
no, it's not the Hollywood. It's the Chinese propaganda. Yeah,
sure,
It's
sure.
hard to get through
Sure,
all the
sure,
Chinese
sure.
propaganda that's in Ip Man, and they don't.
Yeah.
They do not portray his opium addiction
Right.
either. You know, that man was doing a lot of opium from what I read.
Wasn't he running up school funds on opium?
No.
Oh, I have no clue.
That was his own money.
No. He was getting sick and old and an opium addict. His students ran the school and gave him a stipend, gave him an allowance. So they
Wait, hold on. His students gave him an
they
opium
would
allowance?
collect, no, they would
No,
collect,
an
they would collect
allowance,
the money.
living allowance.
Living allowance.
Oh, okay.
They would
Just
collect
farm
the
it on
money.
opium,
They would
okay.
collect the money. They would make sure the rent was paid, the electric was
Yeah,
all
he
was
can eat
paid,
all that.
and then they would give him an allowance out of what they collected.
Yeah.
But there were times that they used that as leverage, which is partly what gave us the Bruce Lee that we got. These Bruce Lee was very cocky, and a lot of the students didn't like that and didn't like his attitude. And Ip Man was a raging bigot and did not like that he was half Anglican.
Yeah.
And American.
Yeah. And so they said, well, now if you want more money, something's got to be done about Bruce. Well, it just so happened around the same time, Bruce moved to another province. And William Chun also was going to move and consulted with Ip Man and asked Sifu, may I teach him? And Ip Man supposedly said yes, everything but the end, which is why there is no record of him ever doing the Build Sifu, because William was not allowed to teach him that. So his solution, because William liked Bruce, his solution was to pose him questions. Well, what if you got caught in this? And then Bruce would look out and learn something from boxing, learn something from Muay Thai, learn something from jits.
Yeah.
That's how I would solve that problem. And that supposedly gives him this include everything philosophy. But it's not unique to him. William Chun, in his 1970s book, points out that his requirement of all his senior students was to go out, learn another art, come back 3 years from now and show us what you learned. Show us the Wing Chun in that art and how you can take pieces of that art and put it in your Wing Chun.
That's cool.
Nice.
So it wasn't just him. It goes back to our earlier discussion. It was not as straight down the line as we have been led to believe in most cases. Except when it comes to business. Like if you went to Kim's. Kim's probably said, no, you don't go anywhere else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you weren't allowed.
Because they needed that customer.
All right. Well, cool. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That was
Yeah,
a lot.
man.
That was great.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Had fun.
for helping me out with classes too.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Shifu.
I'm glad you're getting better.
Sorry, that was Mandarin. Shifu.
Shifu.
There you go. Cantonese. All right. Well, peace. Hit that subscribe button.
Like the video.
Share.
Comment. Do all the things.
Ring the bell.
If you have any questions for this guy, let us know. And we'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Peace.